Hello, I'm Death's Arrow, and this is a WoT I'm Thinking Debrief for the week of May 26, 2013. One thing I mentioned in the last debrief was mastering the basics. The question is, what are the basics? While I'm a little hard-pressed to come up with a comprehensive list, there are a few things that come to mind. The most basic game mechanics are moving and shooting, but there's much more to the game than that, and some of the more important basic skills are as follows. The first of these important basic skills is learning the weak spots of the tanks. While this is a monumental task for new players, it's a necessary skill to be able to effectively fight any opponent. Thankfully, new players only have to face a limited number of new tanks at a time as they go up the tiers, so a lot of this can be done by trial and error along with the in-game penetration indicator. If you do run into a specific tank that gives you issues, websites like wotdb.info and WoT among others are excellent resources to assist you. The second important basic skill is the camo system. Knowing how to utilize bushes and trees to remain hidden from the enemy is important for your survival. Bushes give the best camo, erect trees give second best camo, fallen trees give third best camo. Your vision is reduced while behind them, just as the enemy's is reduced looking in. Firing reduces camo rating. Turret rotation doesn't reduce camo, only hull movement. Any piece of your tank not covered is not camoed. Knowing that certain tanks have better camo than others, i.e. putting a camo net on a mouse isn't that useful as its camo rating is very low. Tank destroyers tend to have better camo ratings, but it doesn't mean that you should put a camo net on a Yagi 100 for example. One of the biggest mistakes I see new players make is sitting inside a bush. This provides you no camo at all. The third important basic skill is when to use auto-aim versus free aim. For those that may not know, you can turn on auto-aim by right-clicking on an enemy tank. Your turret will now track that enemy until they are destroyed or no longer spotted. The downside is that your gun is aimed at the center of mass of the enemy tank, which when facing you isn't generally a weak spot. Also, it's not an effective way to hit targets on the move. What makes auto-aiming useful then? Being able to track a target with your gun while you do other things, like drive, especially in fast scout tanks. Generally speaking, I recommend using free aim at all times. That way you can aim for weak spots, or if a tank is partially behind hard cover, you can hit the parts of the tank that are exposed, rather than the cover that they're behind. The fourth important basic skill is minimap awareness. The minimap in the lower right-hand corner of your screen is the key to knowing what's going on in a match. One thing that I mention in almost every episode of WoT I'm Thinking is to pay attention to the minimap. Just because you're winning the battle in front of you, it doesn't mean that you're going to win the match. By keeping an eye on the minimap, you'll know where your team is winning or losing, so you can react accordingly to what's going on. The fifth and last basic skill I'll cover is knowing your tank's strengths and weaknesses. As you climb the tiers, you'll spend increasingly more time in each tank. It becomes more important to understand what a given tank does well, along with what it's not so good at. Some tanks are excellent brawlers, others are snipers, some have good mobility, and some are slow. How to utilize mobility is also one of the harder things for new players to master. There are certainly more basic skills than the 5 I've just covered, and it's important to brush up on these skills from time to time. I still need to review armor diagrams on occasion to make sure I know how to fight certain tanks. A recent example is the Super Pershing, which I was having some trouble fighting head on. Some quick research to refresh my memory was enough to help fight them more efficiently. And now it's time for the Match of the Week! The replay they'll be looking at is from June 1st on Ensk in my T-29. As noted on the loading screen, this is a standard battle. Reviewing tank composition for this battle reveals the following. This is a Tier 8 battle with 6 Tier 8s on my team and 5 on the enemy team. My team has 3 Tier 7s while the enemy team has 5. My team has 6 Tier 6s while the enemy team has 4 Tier 6s and a Tier 5 scout. No arty in this match. I don't recognize anyone in this battle. As the match loads in, I'm expecting this to be a tough fight as a mid-tier and a Tier 8 match. Ensk is not an ideal map for the T-29 due to the generally flat terrain, although the lack of view range on the T-29 won't be much of a liability. My plan is to hang back along the H-row near town, see what develops, and provide supporting fire. As we get underway, I'm going to weave between the buildings and head up to the gap at H3. Get caught up on that building corner a little bit, cut it a little too close. We've got a pretty heavy contingent in town with just our T-69 right now covering the eastern side of the tracks. This is going to be a little bit of a concern. I notice that the enemy has a Tiger II behind the building in front of me, and I take a shot, I get a hit for no damage. Going to be hard-pressed to pen him with AP rounds. I'm not going to go to premium rounds just yet. Bounce a shot off his front hull. Back into cover again. Missed that shot. You may notice some chatter in the background. That is the HR mod gun sounds. Pushing up into town. Lining up the Tiger II again. And I missed that shot. The 105mm on the T-29 can be a little bit inaccurate at times. Got an ELC racing across the square. My decision to stay back is a smart one, as the team failed to cover the eastern field. 4 enemy mediums are making a run for our base. I immediately turn back towards base, as they will start capping momentarily. While it can't be seen in the replay, I immediately tag the map squares where the enemy is breaking through, hoping other friendlies will notice and come back to base. They've already started capping. We do have other tanks reacting, so I will have support shortly. Get a hit on the Pershing. Bounce a return shot. Lining up the 3002D and I miss. We knock down their Panzer IV-S. Take a hit there. Line up the Pershing again. I bounce off him. Actually, I get a 0 damage hit. Lining up the Jagdpanzer IV. The only enemy capping right now is the 3002D. Get a hit on the Jagdpanzer IV. The Jagdpanzer IV knocks off my track. Get a hit, no damage. He gets knocked down by our T-34. I'm now going to push in and get a hit on the 3002D. I get a flank hit. Back and back out. Our 34 is coming around behind him. Gets a hit on his rear. I'm going to try to take him down here. He spins past the building and line up the 59. Get a hit. I notice that the 3002D is behind the buildings to my left. I'm going to move up and finish him off. I knock him down. Still have the 59 and the Pershing here near cap. Our town is folding. Get the kill shot on the 59. Just the Pershing left near base. Town is folded. We've got 4 heavies, 3 deep in town, and then the Tiger II that's along the main road. Don't really have a shot at the Pershing. Trying to keep an eye on that Tiger II in the middle. We're down to 4 tanks now. Enemy has 5. After successfully defending cap and squaring the score back up, we now have 4 heavies to deal with, including 3 Tier 8s and a Tier 7. The T-34 and I are in good shape, while the Su-100Y and Panther II are one-shottable. I have no idea what the health of the enemies in town are. Hopefully our team weakened them, otherwise we're in trouble. Shell flies a little wild and I miss. Make the call. I'm going to switch to premium ammo here. That way I can punch right through the front upper hull of the Tiger II and I don't have to worry about trying to aim for his lower plate. And actually hit him in the front sprocket and do damage. He was a little over-angled there. And since he's tracked, I can hide behind this wreck and knock him down. The other enemy Tiger II is pushed in along with the T-34, but our Su-100Y knocks down the T-34. So we're just down to a Tiger II and a Tiger. Lose our T-34. Get a flank hit on the Tiger II. Using this building here for cover. I get hit by the Tiger II. I return fire, get him down to one-shottable status. Su-100Y tries to hit him and looks like he missed. I'm going to push in and take down the Tiger II here. I'm going to have to expose myself. But he gives me a flank and I knock him down. I do take another hit and I'm down to 19% health. It all comes down to a one-on-one fight against a very healthy Tiger while I'm significantly damaged. One thing to my advantage is that the Tiger is running the stock turret. This is immediately evident from the 1,350 maximum hit points, as the upgraded turret gives the Tiger 1,450 hit points. I'll play this very cautiously, using the building in front of me as cover. I'm going to play this very cautiously, using this building for cover. I'm going to make the Tiger come to me. Try to draw him out, get him to fire and miss so I can get a free shot on him. Tiger moves up, I push out of cover, he bounces, and I miss my shot. The shed is now knocked down, so I'm going to back further behind this building for cover. Get a hit in the track there because I tried to go into a side scrape. Not particularly successfully, but it was effective that his hit only damaged my track. I get a hit on him. Continuing to use this building for cover. He has a significant reload advantage on me, although he is using the short 88, so I have the advantage there. Get another hit on him and track him, and back behind the building for cover so he can't return fire on me. He's also tracked, and I don't believe he has the repair skill because he has been sitting there tracked for a little while. He's backing back off around the corner. I'm going to take this opportunity to go into a full side scrape. Back out of cover, get a shot at the rear of his tank, and then push back into cover. As I try to twist away, he bounces off my front hull. I reload, knock him down, and win the match. Looking at the after action screens, I destroyed 5 tanks, damaged 2 more, hit 20 of 25 shots, did 4,729 points of damage, and earned 2,632 experience before the double, setting a new personal record for XP earned in a match. Overall, my team made a pretty critical error up front by not covering the eastern field. This allowed the enemy's mediums to push right through to our base. Once I noticed the breakthrough, I reacted immediately, turning back to base as well as drawing attention to the minimap to alert my team to the issue. Thankfully, my team reacted properly and helped me defend Cap, ultimately defeating the enemy's push. Unfortunately, this distraction was ultimately quite effective as it weakened our forces in town, allowing the enemy to win that flank. Normally, facing 4 heavies with our team this wounded would be a death sentence, but we hunkered down around the buildings near base and defeated 2 of the enemy tier 8s and severely weakened the 3rd, which I then finished off. The match then came down to a 1-on-1 versus a Tiger. I sized up my opponent quickly, knowing that he wasn't fully upgraded, giving me a bit of an advantage even with my low health. I then cautiously worked him over and defeated him without taking any damage. Had the Tiger pushed up with the other tier 8 heavies, this match likely would have turned out differently. Thank you for watching this What I'm Thinking debrief. Stay tuned for more content soon.